to my dad's channel. If you're new here, make sure to click that like button and subscribe, and don't forget to share.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is the video which pertains to a positioning flight that we have on our adventure to France. So right now we're sitting in the Palm Beach Escape Lounge getting some eats and some things, and me and the lovely wife are here, and she's actually going to get on the camera and say hi to you guys.
Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Money Minutes, player 2. Super excited to be here, and for $5 and a trip to the Centurion Lounge, I'm pretty excited about this.
Well, as you can see, we began our journey at the Palm Beach Escape Lounge as part of the Centurion network, and we got a decent view of the tarmac here and the boarding gates from our vantage. Now, once we were there, we were able to enjoy some snacks and get our stuff all together and get ourselves prepared to board the plane. So now from here, just getting an idea of where we have to go to taxi on the runway. I didn't shoot a lot of footage in the positioning flights because, well, they're positioning flights. So aside from some of my favorite parts like takeoff, we don't really have to worry about a lot. And now here we have my favorite part, which is always gonna be my favorite part. You're gonna see a few of these, and that's when they turn the jets on and we start for actual takeoff down the runway. And these are the times where we get blessed with some of the greatest aerial views. For instance, this is a great aerial view of Palm Beach County in lovely South Florida where I live. I just wanted to show you guys that because I never get tired of these views when I am taking off to either go get some work done or a great vacation. So now we've made it to the busy Charlotte airport, and we are on the way to the Centurion Lounge for some well-needed rest, relaxation, and refreshment until we get our connecting flight to Atlanta. Now, of course, in the Centurion Lounge Charlotte, I've never been there when it has been super busy, but there's always time for mimosas. Now you see the lovely missus getting some work done on her content creation. This lounge is literally always busy. We booked this positioning flight through British Airways, so that had us on an American flight, which stopped us in Charlotte at their hub before we caught our plane to Atlanta, which will position us for our ultimate trip to Paris, France. All right, and once again, we have another successful takeoff with aerial views of the Charlotte area. And just like that, we touched down safely in Atlanta, Georgia at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. Now, unfortunately, because I flew an American flight, I wasn't able to take advantage of the arrival privileges that Delta flyers get to use in the numerous Delta lounges that are at Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson. And of course, as always, American had to get something wrong, and unfortunately, my poor suitcase didn't make it, and here are the results. So on our trip to Boston to catch our long-range flight on the A330-300, the food that we were served in first class was actually pretty good. I had some chicken here, and I think my wife had some sort of seafood dish. So now at Boston International Airport, we actually landed and had to transfer via a shuttle to their international gate. So we actually had to come down out of the, I believe it was the A terminal. We had to walk across the tarmac, and we got to walk past some planes here into a Delta shuttle that took us over to the international gate where all their international flights were leaving, as you can see here. The ride was pretty smooth, only for some reason they closed the front door but left the back door open. So the anticipation is rising, and we actually got to the international terminal. We went by the Virgin Atlantic Flying Club and, well, clubhouse, not the clubhouse, but their lounge, and left much to be desired, and so did the Delta Lounge, as they were both pretty much caves with no natural light or views of anything. So we headed down, and we're super excited. We're on the jetway. We made it through the jetway in order to get onto the plane because this is going to be our first time on Delta One. Now, as you can see, that is the product. We flew to France on a Airbus A330-300. That was our long-range flight, and you can see some of the hard product. Now, the hard product actually looks a little dated as opposed to some of the newer versions of Delta One suites and also some of the newer versions in the Boeing 767-400s. Now we did get, this is my first time, so we did get some views of the cabin. We got adjoining cabins, so we were right next to each other because it was our anniversary. So in the seat here, you'll have some of the amenities here, like our amenity kit. They give you slippers. In addition to that, noise canceling headphones are included there, plus you have your pillow and blanket set that's zipped up here. They leave those in your seat for you in order for you to get comfortable on your overnight journey. We did fly an overnight flight, so we'll get into more of that stuff in a second. Also, you can see here at 6'3", I fit comfortably sitting upright. You have your seat controls here and the remote control for the in-flight entertainment and the screen that is for your seat specifically. So here we have the amenity kit that is by someone somewhere that you get on your Delta One flights. Now with that, she's gonna go ahead and open that up, and inside included is a toothbrush. So you have your stuff there so you can, freshen up when you land. Let's get it opened up. I believe it's hand cream, if I recall correctly. I believe that's the hand cream. Let's see what we have here. I believe that's a lip balm, if I recall correctly. You have an eye shade for you to get some sleep. And she's displaying that like she's a flight attendant. Earplugs, just in case the ambient noise is a bit much for you. It actually comes in a soft canvas bag and a pen. And that is in your amenity kit that you're gonna get with the Delta One product. So now with this, they are making their in-flight announcement. She is settled in, but the in-flight entertainment was actually pretty great. Like I said, even though the product did look a little dated, it worked superbly. And now coming across, we actually had the food. The meal service was fairly quick. And what you can see here is my celery truffle soup. It was actually pretty delicious. So now with her meal, she actually had lamb. I think she selected it before we got on the plane, but she said that it was excellent as well. So that was a really tasty meal. Great thing to round out the evening, especially since we were on a night flight. I think we got on the plane around 8 o'clock. And after a night of doing some YouTube work, watching some movies and getting some much needed rest, we were awakened with a croissant breakfast, and it looks like guava jelly, and that was pretty good. So then we arrived at Charles de Gaulle Airport, and we started making our way to customs in order to legally enter the country of France. So as you can see here, we have some of the lines. Now this stuff is pretty organized, and you'll actually find that when you arrive in these places, they normally have special lines for American passport holders. I don't know if it's because of agreements that America has with France, but you tend to actually have separate lines if you hold an American passport as opposed to passports from other countries. So here's where we are. We have safely touched down in Paris. So far everything's going well. I've made it through border control, and she's just waiting to see a border agent, but everything should be fine. We're gonna go grab our bags, and then we can get this trip started. So just wanted to let you guys know this is where we're at, and we are super happy. The flight was amazing, got a lot of good footage for Delta One business class, and I can't wait to show it to you guys. All right. So fast forwarding, we've enjoyed our trip, and now this is us. We've already cleared security, gotten our VAT tax back, and the inside of Charles de Gaulle Airport at our terminal when we were leaving looked absolutely amazing. It literally looked like a high-end shopping mall because you could actually get duty-free high-end products there. And of course the wife took advantage, and well, not high-end products, but she got some stuff to bring back. So now, as always, my main concern is, where is the lounge? And luckily, I found it. The Air France lounge, it was situated politely between Dior and Hermes, and we went and checked it out. And because as Delta One passengers, that granted us access as international business class passengers, we were able to get in, and this lounge literally blew my socks off. The decor was wonderfully light, it was airy, you had great views of the tarmac, and even though there was artificial light there was actually a lot of natural light coming in from the panoramic windows. So I'm gonna take you on a quick tour. This is kind of bonus footage around the lounge. So as we pass through here, there's actually reading stations, and some of those trees, like there's like tree designs for like the lamps, and very postmodern, well, I guess it would be called postmodern decor. So as you can see, you'll see how they did it, and the swooping walls. It really was absolutely lovely. And I don't use the word lovely because, well, it's just not a word that I use, but this was lovely. And not to mention also, with all of the lounges that I've been in, this lounge was, by comparison, huge. Especially even compared to some of the larger Delta lounges in Atlanta, which actually are pretty decent sized. This lounge was absolutely massive, and it wasn't packed at all. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you through sort of a walk around to tell you about the windows that I was referring to. So now these are them. These are the famous windows that I love so much, because planes actually drive right by the lounge as you're just relaxing, waiting on your flight. And as I take you down here, you're gonna see some of the stations and some of the amenities that come with being in this lounge. Like you have a PS4 station for kids if they're flying business class, obviously with their parents, but you have PS4 here, which is a lot, especially when you don't want kids running all over the place causing a bunch of ruckus in your lounge, so people can enjoy their stay. So now in addition to that, as we come down through the rest of the lounge here, that is one of the few stations that are actually manned, because for the most part, everything is free pour there. Free to take, free to pour, and this is a map legend because that is how the entire lounge is laid out for your relaxation purposes. Now, speaking of relaxation, if you look in here, I did get a view of some of the relaxation chairs. And those look really nice. And they all have power and USB ports. There was no shortage of those in the lounge. So as we come up upon the shower station, if you see here to the left, that's actually where you would go if you want to, have a shower, get freshened up. That is where all of that magic happens. So you have those stations as well in the lounge. I did not take advantage of those as we had just left our airport anyway, as we had just left our hotel anyway, and we were all freshened up, and we did not do a changeover through Charles de Gaulle. So when we come back past the entrance, we have a tree there, but you can see the distance as you look down. You would tend to think that this is its own terminal, but this is simply an airport lounge. Now, mind you, this is one of a few lounges in Charles de Gaulle Airport, because there's also another one that I've heard of called, I believe it's called the Paris Salon. It's supposed to be nicer than this. And then in addition to that, you also have the very ultra high exclusive La Premiere Lounge, where international first class flyers are shepherded to. So as you can see here, they're constantly working, and remember what I said, you have your food stations here, And I'll get a better shot here, but pretty much everything was free pour. That included wine, hard liquor, coffee, and other refreshments here. But just to give you an idea of the breadth and scope of this lounge, it was absolutely wonderful. So here I'll take you back through with a better look at the bar scene. And that is what it is for you. So the Air France Lounge did not disappoint whatsoever. We had great food there. We had some finger foods, we made some sandwiches, and it was just amazing. It was a great way to start our departure from Charles de Gaulle Airport. So now, after wonderful refreshments in the Air France Lounge, we started to make the walk to our gate. One thing that I found a little weird was getting on the plane was a bit disorganized, as they tried to separate Sky Priority from regular fares, and in addition to that, Delta One was actually separated even further. But you didn't know that unless you asked, because just the sheer volume of the terminal itself, it was extremely hard while standing not 15 feet away from the desk to hear any of the announcements that they were saying. But ultimately, we were able to make it to where we got on the plane, as that was our main goal. So now we got a surprise when we got on the jetway, because you had to walk through a hallway and get to the jetway. And finally, something I thought was a little peculiar, it didn't look like the plane that I thought we were going to be flying back. We were actually greeted by a Boeing 767-400, which meant that the Delta One product was actually going to be different on this plane than it was on the plane that we took coming to France, which was a welcome surprise. So that way I could actually experience both, so I could give you guys a better idea of what it is that you will experience depending on the plane that you're taking internationally. And now we have reached the seat, give you a good view of the Delta One product. This is not a suite because it does not have any sort of privacy door, but like the A330, you get your own personal screen. This one is noticeably bigger, and you have your same amenity kit from someone somewhere with seat controls, and these seat controls work very well in addition to the last one, just like the last ones, and that is the wife's seat. You'll notice her noise canceling headphones, which every seat got, and you have the different, once again, the different hard product. And you know we got to get some shameless advertisement there for Delta One. Now, unlike the last one, we actually got paper menus here, so we could choose things that we actually decided that we wanted to eat before the meal service. So what I can say without a shadow of a doubt is that Paris owes me nothing. Nothing. We had a great time. We caught flights and feelings. We celebrated a great anniversary. And also, we got here for $5. Where else can you do that? But if you follow my channel, Chad's Money Minutes on YouTube, you can go ahead and find out how to leverage that credit card points, and you too can fly internationally business class for $5. As you can see here, this is the Delta One, and I'm going to turn it so you can see also my great travel companion. It don't get much better than traveling and looking at her sipping mimosas on a plane. And looking around here, this is my cozy pillow for when I go to sleep with these big TVs that we have. So just want to let you know you can do it too. And I guess I'll catch you when we hit the United States. Now, one of the jewels of the 767 was actually the in-flight entertainment system. Now, it was way more robust than the A330, as you could actually see radar views of the plane, which was really cool. They had satellite views of the Earth, and you could look at the plane from numerous different angles, and it gave you a lot more information than we had gotten on the last plane. And from takeoff to cruising altitude, it's actually kind of entertaining take a look at and really just absorb here. So you get from space views, and it was really nice, especially if you're into that sort of thing as far as flight plans and flight paths go. And there you have it. That was our trip going to and coming back from Paris, France on a Mega Points redemption that we did, and we were just totally, our expectations were absolutely exceeded in every way, shape, and form. Now, you'll notice that I didn't put a lot of video into the actual positioning flights because they're regular flights. Anybody can take them. Their value was in how few points that I had to use in order to redeem them, and the fact that they were all $5. So now, with those things being considered, the last video outtake that you saw was the 767 that brought us as a direct flight from Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport back to Atlanta. And we had a nighttime landing, and I was in the middle, so I couldn't get a lot of window footage from there. But one thing, as a final thought that I have to say, is while the A330's product does look a little dated as opposed to the 767, which was superb, I can't lie, this 6'3", 250-pound guy was actually more comfortable in the A330 product than I was in the 767. Now, for you taller people out there, I would highly suggest you may want to err towards the A330, as there's a little bit more leg room, which will allow you to lay on one side without feeling cramped, without having to feel like you need to lay face up, because it will allow you much more room to maneuver. And I gotta say, the bolstering on the seats was actually a little better. Now, for you audiophiles and videophiles and you people who want bigger is better, I totally suggest the 767, as the entertainment just presented well because the screen was noticeably bigger, and it just seemed to flow more. And pretty much there aren't a lot of buttons there. Everything's kind of like, touch activated, and gives you more of a modern feel. Now, I have yet to try the Delta Suites, and I do believe that's on the Airbus A350, if I recall correctly. But if I get a chance to try those, I will definitely let you guys know how it is. Now, I'm super excited. This is my first time doing a travel vlog, so please forgive me if it ain't as polished as some of the other ones that you've seen, but we were really, really happy about this, and we wanted to get this out. So until next time, until the next flight review, I will catch you later.